Greetings and salutations. I am Admiral Andre and I heartily welcome you to episode 9 of Train Fever. Last time, if we just recap, this line to Westminster was finally completed after we had to do some clever time travel there. And we've got 2 trains running up and down here now, sort of express passenger trains. Now you see one of them is actually waiting here. Let's just let the clock run again. It is unfortunate, but at least the siding here was a good idea. Otherwise the other one would have had to wait down here at the juncture with the main line. So that little bit of wait is of course not ideal, but I don't want to double the entire line again. We sort of reserve that for our main line, I think, and we don't exactly have oodles of money at the moment. Let me see, it does have only 3 people anyway. And the other one? 1, oh yes, that's Solitaire, still on the way for its first stop. So anyway, I'm thinking now, is it worth it? It must be. It has to be worth it to supply Westminster with cargo. But then the problem is, what are we going to do with this line? Ultimately, a single line like this with one siding, I don't know if it can carry 3 trains. If we have another siding further up the line, will it be clever enough to hold one train there, another there, while the other one comes up the line? Or will one stop and the other one come down, and then will there be a clash? Okay, another train has reached its lifetime. This is the Riverside Downey passenger train. But before that, I think I'd like to replace the Gainesville cargo train. I think that one has really reached its limit. Let me just see. You see, it's completely full there, so its lifetime has been reached, and it is making us a bit of a loss, so this is an issue to be addressed, I think. Just see, the town is getting its full supply, but how much is waiting? 15, and where is the train at the moment? Almost there, so it's not even a full load. So is it really worth upgrading this train now? What is its upkeep? Still under 300, so of course we want it like that, but I don't know. You see, not everything here is optimal, I'm sure, but that would also be applicable to much in life, as long as we can just have a financially sound company, because it's been a bit of a struggle. But I must say, I think that makes this series a little bit more interesting than your run-of-the-mill YouTube series, because I've seen some where it's just a little too easy and the money is just a bit too good, you know. Now here we have a problem already. Oh, it's coming in so quick this episode, so many things bombarding us. People have started to now construct on the line here, and this is not going to work because this is the future expansion of the main line, so we must put a stop to this. I'm very sorry. You can continue your expansions very soon. I just need to now see what I can do here, because the road has also been expanded, which means that tracks are gonna have to, you see, it pulls the road down. I don't want that, so unfortunately, oh, this is such wasteful expenditure. I'm sorry, I can't even afford it. Please don't build there again. No, stop, please. No, I can't even afford to stop that. Things are going very bad. I can put like a little, I can't even do that honestly, and now I must actually borrow more. This is bad. But I have to just clear this. I should have blocked this off from the start. There we go. Sorry people. I know it sucks a little bit, but it's definitely something you can recover from. Let me just have a look at the contour lines. I'm jumping all over the place in this episode, but if I can just secure this, I think we can look at some other things that might need tending to. Let's climb up the side of the mountain there again. So we sort of have to get there, otherwise this is a very steep climb. So I can curve it gently now. Something like that, perhaps? It's a lot of money again, but alright, now please continue with your residential and other building constructions. See, so the railroad has to cut into the terrain here a little bit, but maybe if we're lucky, that can actually give us an opportunity to build an interesting road bridge here, perhaps. Oh, not enough space. How is that possible? There we go. There we go. So it doesn't want to go straight, but it will go curved. Something like that. Would that look appealing? I think so, but definitely not this wooden bridge. Something again for the age. Either a stone bridge or this green steel bridge. I think the green steel one is definitely more appropriate for 1890. And that's it. Oh, that does look nice. It gives it a bit more appeal. And now they can grow this direction all that they like. There we go. So that was a bit of an expensive adventure, but I'm sure people will start catching up there again. The town, of course, of Riverside, or I don't know, can we call it a city now? Let's just call it a city. I know it isn't really, but nevertheless, it is really expanding here now. We've got another one here now, industrial. And there are no vacant positions, which means people basically have to walk. There's one of them. Look at that.
Huh?
This woman has walked all this way to come and shop at that building. So she had to stroll all around. Very interesting that she's willing to do that. Well, I don't think I can do much to help her, or can I stop again? Let us just try this. I know this is really not the best for the company at the moment. Oh, there we go. We had it for a second. That's not expensive. That's $45,000 for the time. Sure, it was expensive, but I think a small road. It's 20 kilometers an hour. Not so great. A bigger one still works, and that is 40. So one day our buses and things can really go on this line. Let's approve that. Only have one choice of the tunnel, so that is nice. There we go. At least now that we're reaching the turn of the century, we're starting to take on some more, ambitious engineering feats. Let's just hope this tunnel never gets flooded, because it's a bit... where is the entrance now? Here. It would be a bit unfortunate, but still, anyway. That does seem a bit nice. Let's add some trees here. This is so funny. The company's in a bit of a problem here, but let's add some trees. Make things look nice. If we're gonna go down, we go down in style. At least we've got money coming in. Let's repay this mad loan that I took out. Almost back where we started with the 6 million, so at least I think we are reasonably healthy. Let's see, what can I put up here? First things might be a bit of a fence. We only have this one option, unfortunately. And I don't know why, because it's not like the people will be stopping here and falling in this hole. But it might look nice. I don't know. What does this mean? Danger signal. So you can put this anywhere, basically. It doesn't snap to the rail line. Well, it's sort of on the edges, but you can put this anywhere. But yes, we're totally broke again. That's it. So really, I hope for some more ploppables, really, in the Transport Fever. That would be nice. I'm sure I can get some mods to do these things, but that just seems like so much effort just for some random decorations. Some rocks, I don't know. Let people build here and extend the roads if they feel like it. Look at that, this lady is taking our tunnel. Excellent. So yeah, some more people. You see, they definitely are interested. Which means, okay, again, I have no money. My ambitions are far exceeding my means at the moment. I was just thinking, let us then take up the challenge of getting a coach station on this side. What is the current line? You see it goes there, so maybe... No, but should I do it before the station? Then it can come down here and then maybe go back and still stop at the same places. There we go, stop! Let me mess around with this a little bit, just for the sake of it. Let's make things look nice. Anyway. Wooden fence. I don't know, the problem with this is also something that I hope they address. It doesn't always line up exactly the way that you want. See it now, this one doesn't line up with that one. Oh well. Just more or less. No, this one doesn't want to build at all. Oh well. Never mind. I don't know, something like that, don't fall down there. Then some trees or something, just a little bit, and then we can let it run on slow perhaps. This does not change the landscape, so you really can put these anywhere. With the fences, there's always the risk that they will mess up the landscape. Something like that, I don't know. I'm not putting too much effort into this obviously, but still. Something like that. Let's just leave it there. It's just an experiment anyway. So, now, stop. Again, we still have money. So let me actually put the other stop here. Perhaps the town will continue to grow in this direction, and if so, having just this convenient stop will certainly be welcome, I'm sure. Something like that. So this one on its own is now then still a short walk away, but they've started adding even more, you know, arms to this road. So I think there is going to be a lot happening here. Now, which one is it again? The Riverside bus line. I can close this one and let's see. Before it reaches Maple Street, so after number 6 I will just add a station, and that will be this one, so it will just turn around and then go back to the station. A little bit extra weight perhaps for people who want to go to the station, but I don't think it will be a major issue. We could always add another coach. Let me just see how they are doing actually. Well, nice profit for us. 84 seconds, you see the frequency is going up now. So there is definitely an impact from having this little bit of a detour there. Let's see. Oh, for a second everything was green and I thought, hey, my life is looking so bright in this game. And one of our coaches went through. For nothing, but still, oh well. Now, what is the next thing on the agenda? It still would be beneficial, I think, to have another line here, perhaps. Or to go around the town with a cargo, but I'd rather keep the things that I have. But that would mean a new station, and that would almost certainly mean having to destroy some of these buildings, which will be very, very expensive. Hey, somebody built here. On this sort of slope and there, so see, I knew people were gonna build here, and it does. Well, let's just turn the contour line off. You know, at least it means they're making use of every scrap of available land. I suppose land costs and property prices have skyrocketed in this city now. Anyway, let's look at the oil here. What's happening with the oil? We've got 75 that's waiting to go, and the train can carry 63, so that is a problem. I really need to remember now when it comes back, I needed to go to the depot and pick up some more carriages so that we can carry more oil. So I will keep this window open up there and remind myself Unfortunately, it has to wait a little bit, but the wait times are definitely less now that the amount of trains has been reduced. Down here, let's see if anything is waiting. We do have some. 24, that's alright. This one can carry 100 and something, I think. So at 86. Wonder why it wasn't full. I guess this just produces so quickly that it actually did take everything that was there. Train 9. Oil delivery. No, time can't be going that fast. Are you crazy? This train has reached its lifetime already. I'm genuinely gobsmacked. 40 years? Are you mad? Is this right? I'm gonna have to go and check in the other videos. Have I had this train for 40 years? It can't be. I just bought it. Could it be that they add the age of the carriages? Because those I can believe are very old. But this engine didn't even come out 40 years ago. No, it is obviously, it must be the oil carriages or tanker cars. They of course have their own upkeep, running costs. 400,000 for this one wagon. Oh no, it's the whole train again. Oh well. I don't know what the maintenance costs of the individual cars are, but that is obviously what the situation is. And unfortunately, unlike in what I hear we can see in Transport Fever, you can't actually tell which are the older cars. But as soon as we get a new tanker car, I will replace all of them. But that locomotive is not 40 years old, don't lie, come on. 40 years ago we started the game, and obviously the consolidation wasn't available yet. Alright, stop there. Let's actually carry on with the main line. I think that would be the main goal, to reach Philadelphia. At least then, if things are not looking up, we can end the series with a glad heart, because we achieved the goal of linking our hub city with the linkage to the rest of America. Again, just keeping that storyline going, I guess. So let's see just again the contour lines, and then what is the next target? Virginia Beach or Fresno? I think I said Fresno. Once we reach this level, there's a little bit of a, is it a climb or a fall? No, a fall. So that's very, very gentle. You see the lines are far apart. So as long as we can get to this level where the farm ends, or this one next to it, then we're fine. So up there is the goal. Let me actually build a piece of railroad there so I can just keep that in mind and not have, you know, a crossing that's too uneven. That's fine. I don't want those weird huge dips in the road. So from that point I have to connect it. So is that even possible? Let's just try with the one. That does seem like a big challenge though. No, let's just... Maybe if we build it from the other side it will be a bit easier. Unfortunately it's climbing there. How much? Oh, not much at all. There we go. Now we do need to start coming down. This will eat into the speed, of course. So how are we doing now? We're gonna have to basically curve around, I think. Let me put the music a bit louder just while I'm busy. Something like that. Hopefully that's not gonna get some complaints with copyright. Just let's see what we can do. Does help give some inspiration, I feel. Around here. You know, a nice feature possibly could be if the music was contextual in terms of the era that you're playing, then that would really be interesting. In the Wild West, you'd hear the saloon music and things, but of course in Europe it would be slightly different. And then by the 1950s, you start to hear a bit of sort of rock, the early rock, and then up until the present day, more or less. Now we're really curving far away. This is a detour and a half, and we get a bit of a bridge going on here. But let's say, okay, just keep an eye on that money. Let's just say this is now the era of the bridges, the big, ambitious construction efforts. So I'll accept that and make it a bit more interesting. That will also help us, we can actually see the old eras we were very much limited. By the late 1800s we started to really build some ambitious tracks. Now is this line going to curve? It does. Okay, it's a very slow curve there, but I'll accept it nonetheless. There we go. So the main line has made it over this mountain at least. And it must be doubled. I'm sorry, this is wasteful, I know, but the main line is the heavy one. Maybe in the 1900s we'll get an engine that's really up to the task of hauling some of the cargo up here as well. Then with that one refinery we could supply even as far away as Philadelphia. That would be amazing. Unfortunately no forests there. Alright, so it's still a climb, let's be honest. Especially this bend, but the rest of it is a gentle climb, so I think that's okay. Let's just bring the music back down, otherwise it's a bit too loud. Then Fresno should be a very easy run, but now it's time to pay off some debts. Definitely repay. Now I go to the bank manager and I say, please have some more, just so we progressed a little bit. Now we need to assess the situation with our money. These trains, okay, this is the Westminster. Hey, it's got 11 now, that's better. Solitaire. Let's take the trip on Solitaire. I've got another story to tell you. Now, let's see. Oh, I forgot totally about that oil thing to add more of the wagons, but anyway. So this time, and now why are you stopping here? It's probably just to wait for one of the Downey trains to get out of the way. Yes, you see the signals are still too far apart, so I have to look at that too. So in this part, the author of the Head of Steel book, he talks about just describing some of the stations, very atmospheric again. And he writes this. On a rainy night, there is nowhere on God's earth more dismal and desolate than a deserted railway station. Footsteps echo eerily on the concrete platforms and rebound from the dark caverns of doorways. The rails gleam in the oblique light of dirt-encrusted lamps, stretching away to the red signal light floating as if in space. All about are the whispers of tearful goodbyes, the waving of ghostly hands and the impatient fuming of the iron monster straining at the leash, to be gone into the unknown blackness. What pain and numbing despair, what joy and anticipation are encompassed in the sordid precincts of a railway station. Just again that rich description. Oh, there's a nice view of our bridge there. Then he talks about some of his experiences traveling on railways, and since this book was written or published in 1962, we can imagine some of these accounts are from the 1950s. This is now the author speaking, so it's not the, those very early accounts which were obviously from the 1800s that the author himself didn't experience. I would hope not, but anyway. And so, what are we doing? We're still waiting to see what's happening with our money situation. So there are quite a few tales that he actually recounts. And if I just find okay, there's a road vehicle that's reached its limit, and this one is on road. No, which route are you on? Westminster. And it's not been set. So let me set this line's replacement. Yes, 100%. And that should take care of it. Let me just look in the overview here. Westminster bus, it's now being auto replaced. I just need to do that quickly while I'm remembering for the cargo ones too. The time flies so rapidly. So horse wagon, and it must be set for goods, and okay, and yes. So there we go. At least that takes the burden off my hands. Let me just find the oil train, because I really do need to add more capacity to this one. So by the time it gets back, hopefully we have enough money for that. Let me now read you a few of these accounts of his. Very short again. Let me just see, where is a good one? Egypt. Here we go. This is a nice one. On this same train between the R and Port Elizabeth, I had an experience that really shook me. The train was practically empty. About 9 o'clock I was sitting in the dining saloon with the chief steward. We were having a cup of coffee when the train stopped at a wayside station. Being the only occupants of the saloon, the chief had time to relax. We were chatting in desultory fashion when the door opened and a woman carrying a suitcase came into the saloon. She put down the suitcase and came down the aisle to us. She sat down opposite me, pulled out a card, showed me the number on it and inquired, "Where do I find this compartment?" I looked at the chief steward. He leaned over, looked at the card and told her which direction to go. The woman said, "Bring me a double brandy." While the chief was away, she said, "You don't mind if I drink brandy?" "Why should I mind?" I asked. The woman was about 30 and quite pretty in a jaded sort of way. Her hand shook as she lit a cigarette. She kept glancing about her in a most disconcerting way. The chief steward brought the brandy, which she drank in one gulp. She apparently noticed the puzzled expression on my face, because she put down the glass and said with emphasis, "You would be surprised if you knew what I've been through." The chief stood beside her waiting for his money. She focused her innocent blue eyes on me and said imperatively, "Pay him." The chief smiled in spite of himself as he accepted my money. Let me just tell this thing to go back to the depot. When he returned, he said, "What happened to you? My husband tried to murder me tonight." "That is why I've left him," the woman said in a matter-of-fact voice. The chief and I looked at each other, not knowing what to say. "We have a deep well in our yard," the woman continued. "It is covered over with galvanized iron. Tonight I was washing the dishes when my husband called me into the yard." And let me stop there. Oh, this is a cliffhanger. And just get the oil cars onto this train. So let me make this one as long as the other one. Buy trains. So that was 105, I believe. You know, actually, since we've got the opportunity and the money, I'm going to sell all of the oil cars just so that they don't add too much to the expenditure of maintenance, since they are too old, I think. The tank cars, we still have the same one. It will go until 1901. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up to 105. There we go. So now this is as long as the delivery train, and I can just set it to the... Is this now the oil delivery or the... No, Riverside Cargo, even though this is not the cargo line anymore. Then I'll just turn it around, although it's going to be much longer now, since it needs to go and pick up goods. Here we go. That should take care of it. We'll just follow it along. Alright, so where were we? Yes, this woman was talking about they had a well in their yard, and it was covered over with galvanized iron. Tonight I was washing the dishes when my husband called me into the yard. I went outside where he was flashing a torch about in the garden. "Come and look at this," he called. I walked towards him, and as I did so, he shone the light in my eyes so that I could not see where I was going. I stopped and bent forward. I was on the very brink of the well, which is 80 feet deep. The sheets of tin had been removed from it. "What did you do then?" the chief asked. "I ran into the house, packed my bags and left," the woman replied. "Why would he want to do a thing like that?" I asked. "He's got another woman he thinks I know nothing about," she said. She seemed suddenly to grow weary of our company. She picked up her suitcase and walked out. When she had gone, the chief fetched some more coffee and began telling me about some of the weird things that happen on trains. And then he goes to another story. So, these are the things. And actually, where is that one? There's a part where he starts out. I think it was on the previous page, or was it on this next page? Something where he speaks about if you really want to experience strange things, you must go on a train. But of course, this was a different time in the world. Nowadays, it's just, I guess some of that has been lost, to be honest. You just see where it was. When we inquired at this same train. So he has got quite a lot of these stories in here. Let me just go back. At least this one is now running smoothly, so I think that has been taken care of. Well, he writes here, "Ask any railway policeman and he will tell you that a man no sooner gets drunk, but he saunters down to the railway station. What is it that attracts drunks to railway stations? Is still an unexplained mystery. It is nevertheless true." So I wonder if that's still true today. At least, okay, we've got a stay car, but we don't use one of those, so nothing to worry about. There was a case of a ring that was stolen. There's the thing. If you want to see life, board a train at a wayside station, travel first class, wear a tweed suit and a stupid expression. Now, a tweed suit, I don't know if that's still going to be the thing to do, but still, there we go. So that was one story, and just again makes it a bit more interesting. So I wonder whatever happened to this woman whose husband tried to lead her to her doom. We've got some good money, so now at least 5 years have passed. Good grief. That is really something. Anyway, so the town is growing more here. It's still the same number of buildings, but the roads keep expanding. And now, of course, that we've put up a nice connection here, I think that helps the people to just make that trip easier. And they can just walk if they really want to as well. So the next goal for the 900 that we've got right now, I've put this one on the right path, so wanted to say on the right track, but I've had too many puns in this series already. Let's see what the layout of Fresno is. Fresno, of course, as I think I'm right, is in California. So a lot of Californian places here for some reason. Anyway, it is the most populous. Is it the most populous? It is, yes, the most populous state in the Union. So that does make some sense. If we just have a look at where we need to go from here around. So I guess we're going to stop here. Let me just put the contour lines on and the station. There we go. Just 2 again here. And luckily there is sort of a gap in the road that we can make use of. I'm just wondering now, because you see it already starts climbing by the time it reaches this road, so that road's gonna have those dips in it, but maybe I should just put it here since there is this little piece of road. I rarely actually connect the station to these ready built roads. I always use my own roads. See, it doesn't even line up very nicely, but that one is fine. There we go. So at least we use their roads this time. And now we just have to meet in the middle again. So the head of steel is now located here at the edge of the plateau. I wonder, is this place higher up than Westminster? I don't know. It looks pretty even. I know Tacoma you can see from up there. I imagine, and I like to do this, make up my own stories. Westminster is the gambling den of this map. That's where you go if you want to wager some money and stumble into a saloon. You might see some rowdy crowds there, but it's certainly an interesting place, I can imagine. And some old hotels and, you know, saloon music, although that era is now almost at its end. Let's just say that ends in 1900. It probably ended earlier, of course. But we have seen the passing of the age now. The Wild West is no more. And now it's all about the Benjamins, as it always is really, but the time has come for, you know, automobiles, and there we have a strange little rise there, but it's not too bad. Automobiles and all strange newfangled things. Airplanes will soon make their appearance, not in this map of course, it's still train fever, but in the wider world I suppose that would be the case. No good. Let's just angle it more or less. Okay, it has to climb a little bit more, but anyway. So we just wait for some more money to pour into our hands, into our outstretched hands, like manna from heaven. Not really, of course, we have earned this money. Some of it through borrowing, but nevertheless. Let me skip ahead again till we have some more money. And the money has arrived, almost 1 million. So let us continue that, and then the rest of it should be relatively straightforward, I think. What I think I'm going to do now, after we finish the line of course, and I've got the book in my hand, so I might need to just drop that, is to run the passenger trains not all the way from Riverside to Fresno, but to just continue the journey from Downey. I think that might be a better solution. I would like to have that kind of express line right from Riverside, but I think we don't have the trains for that yet. It's too slow still, even with the consolidation. This little bit of a jump here does bother me, I must say. OCD, as I said before, is not something that goes well with this game, or most games really. Not that I think I really have OCD, it's just you know, in real OCD situations it gets terrible and completely out of hand, so I don't think it's even fair to call this OCD, and I know a lot of people do that. It's just a little something, you know. Anyway, so there, the next step is the usual, I think, to just get a connection here. It's just a switch basically in this outside the station, and then again, if you are coming up the line, please wait right at the entrance here for the line to clear, and then let us just add the signals that we know will anyway be necessary. You know, and I think if we continue the line on from Downey, then that also means that the line that goes from Riverside to Downey should start carrying more people, because more people want to continue onwards from Downey. So perhaps that will also benefit the town of Downey, because people might want to go there more from Fresno as well, and so on. But I really want that benefit to come to Riverside, not to some hill town that's just for holidays. Not really, but I still want to feel a bit of pride in Riverside, at least even if it's only imaginarily my home now. And this is perhaps not the best place for a signal, because the trains will have to go from a full stop uphill. Not good, but I think it can manage. Just must be the consolidation. Nothing else will suffice. Then here we go under this lovely bridge. That is the pride of the people of Downey, and we just go like that. Fix up the signal, and there we go. Should that be alright? If they go in there, they might actually have to wait there, but they come down the right. No, so it's fine. Alright, so the thing about the depot now, and they've actually made use, look here, of the bridge that I so generously donated to the town, by starting to really develop here. So maybe it is true that the towns like to develop around the railway stations, and I've made almost a big mistake again by not continuing this also. Can I now? What can I do with this? I might have to channel it over the other one and then somehow connect again with it. But actually it should go to the right hand side, which is this one now. Uh-oh, well, that shall not do at all. Of course I couldn't pull it off even if the house was not there, so over it goes, if it can, by the way. How much more up can we go? We can't. Well, look, no, I don't think it's a problem. And the reason is, if we do have cargo running up here, why should it have to stop at this station first? It just goes on, the main line. So, we've got this strange appendage hanging here now. What do I do with it? I really wish I could climb fast enough to produce a bridge for this, but I don't think it's possible, to be honest. It's easier for a road, ironically. Not really, because I can understand that a railroad bridge will be more gradual than a road bridge, but surely, come on, we can just make a little hop here. Ah, well. Let's just take it to there and stop the thing. So it's the sort of mystery. What did the people have in mind when they built this thing? Anyway, doesn't matter. The main line is there, so that's all. Now, the question about the depot is, do I now bring trains all the way from Riverside to just go between Downey and Fresno, or do I actually have a depot here now? Because if the trains have to come all the way from Riverside anyway, they might as well, you know, just be that normal Downey train that goes on. I don't know. I don't want the depot again at Fresno. I'd rather have it at Philadelphia. You know, it doesn't really matter. So let's put it here. Now, how am I gonna make this thing work? No, because if I put a depot here, it's going to be like deep into the ground there. Possibly here. So if it comes out, it's going on the right hand side, so that would be just fine. So it splits off there. Just a little, please. Just on the level. Great, so now here we go. That looks much better than a giant hole in the ground. So now we can just go there and then back up to Fresno. So let me just set up this line and then I can have some... Maybe we can stop the video there. Time flies so quickly, you know. Luckily it does follow the prescribed rules of the road, so to speak. And this one is the Downey to Fresno main line. So then, yes, Downey, because it's anyway a tourist town basically. I'm making all this up, but nevertheless, this is a good place then for people to just stop. You know, it's been a long journey from Riverside, so they need to take a break. Really, you can't just keep going. So you must stop and reinforce your strength, maybe at the nearest saloon, and then hop back on and just continue down the line. That makes sense. So then all that remains is to put the train into service. So we still only have and I bet you as soon as I let the time go again, we suddenly have a new locomotive, but this one will do with, I think, three for now. Or should it be more? I have so much of a temptation again to make it more. 4, alright, it's done. Then this one goes to Downey Fresno. If we have another train or need for another train, I will definitely add another one on this piece of the line. And that should do. And it's roaring out of the stable, so to speak. No interest at this point, of course. Very nice. Alright, let us stop the video here, and then in the next one we can set up the coach service in Fresno. Hope you've enjoyed. See you next time for episode 10. Have a fantastic day.